Good morning, good people. Good morning, good people. This is John Bell Jr. coming to you live from the Powerhouse. Today on Jules from John, we're going to be speaking about transformation. Transformation that's coming from one place to the next. And what it takes to come from one place to the next. I'll speak on my experiences because it's easier for me to, I want to say, explain it to you, and I think that you will be able to relate. Okay, I was on the basketball team about 10 years ago. We had a good team. We were in a league. It was 10 teams in the league, and it was $100 a player. You know, each player had to put up $100, and the winner take all at the end of the year, end of the season. It was a 20-game season. We had the best power forward. We had the best center. We had the best small forward. We had the best shooter. And, of course, I played the point guard. We had one of the best leaders in the whole league. But we couldn't win a game. We would go out there every single game and give our all, and for some reason, we will always be in the losers bracket at the end of the game. The first 10 games we lost. It's a 20-game season. At the half, we were 0-10. The best team in the league, and we were 0-10. And I couldn't understand it. We would argue, we would fuss, we would fight, sometimes physically fight. We would point the finger at each other. I mean, everything that we were doing out of frustration because we looked at our team and we said, we're the best team in the league and we can't win. It wasn't until the day the coach sat me down. He said, you are the best player in this whole league. But because of your attitude, because of your lack of leadership, you are the worst player on my team. And when I looked at it, I couldn't see what he was saying. I couldn't even understand why he was telling me that I was the worst player on the team. Because I seen that, my stats would be 30 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, 6 or 7 steals. I would give my all every single game. And we still would lose. So I was still not understanding why he was saying that I was the worst player on the team. He said, when I ask you, what do you bring to the table? You'll give me a long list of all the good things that you do. He said, but when I ask you, what do you bring to the team that takes away from the team? You have nothing to say. He told me that you complain a lot. You point the finger. You find fault. You argue a lot. Sometimes you're selfish. And when he ran down these lists of things, I couldn't understand. Like, why are you saying these things to me? I give you my all. He said, because I'm telling you the truth. So I had got hurt. And I couldn't play. So I was on the sideline watching my team play. This was right after the break. This was our 11th game. I hurt myself in practice and I couldn't play the next game. I was sitting on the sideline watching my team play. They seemed like a whole different team. They seemed like a whole different team. They were out there. They were sharing the basketball. They were enjoying the game again. And they won. That was the first win of the season. So the fans and the people that were cheering and rooting us on, they said it seemed like they're a better team without John. So that was my humbling moment. I had to look deep inside myself and say, what are those things that he said about me? Are those things really true? And when I looked at the evidence of my team winning because I wasn't on the court, I see the things that he was telling me that they were true. So now I had to get to a place. I had to get to a place where I started to change the way that I thought. I had to change the way I thought in order to change the way I deal with certain situations. So what I did, I started looking at the bigger picture. I started to say, I have to stop pointing the finger. I have to stop finding fault. I have to stop trying to look for all the negatives in other people and start to fix the negatives about myself. I had to transform my mindset to stop looking at all the negatives and see the things that I was doing that would keep us from being a positive, a winning team. The next game I was able to play. It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks apart because the snow had stopped the gym from being open. 2 weeks later, I had time to reflect, and I told myself that no matter what goes on, I'm going to go in here and give these people my best, and I'm not going to complain. He turned the ball over. He missed a shot. He fumbled a pass. I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to continue to encourage him instead of discouraging. The next time we played a team that was supposed to be the best team. They were undefeated. The next time we played them people on our 12th game, we blew those people out by 30 points. The reason why we played so good was because we were all on the same page. We were all on the same page, and we transformed our mindset from being finger pointers and complainers and arguing and being people that cause confusion. We transformed our mindset from that into encouraging one another, starting to help one another, starting to praise each other, and we stopped complaining. See, you don't appreciate the position that you're in because you continue to complain. My coach said, look at life like a windshield, right? There's only two things that can be a distraction naturally when you're driving your car. The windshield wipers and sometimes your rearview mirror. He said every time you complain, that's a crack in your windshield. Every time you point the finger at someone else, that's a crack in your windshield. Every time you find fault in someone else, there's a crack in your windshield. Now, when you do a self-check, and you ask yourself, how much do I complain? How much do I find fault? How much do I point the finger? And when you get all those answers and all those cracks are in your windshield, are you still able to see? See, let's transform this thing into a corporate mindset. Some of you right now are saying, I've been at my job for 15 to 20 years, and I still haven't gotten a promotion. I still haven't gotten to the place where I want to be at. I don't know why someone else is getting promoted before me. Well, let me tell you this. The reason why someone else is getting promoted before you, even though you've been there longer than them, because they appreciate their position. They don't come to work complaining. They do their best they can in their position without worrying about anyone else. Because I've noticed that as long as you're doing the best you can do in your position, you make the team better without even knowing it. But the more and more you come in complaining, asking for a promotion, you take away from the team. If your boss was to ask you right now, what do you bring to the table? If you walked into your boss's office and your boss asked you, what do you bring to the table? You would give your boss a long laundry list of things that you do right. But if he would say, what do you bring to the table that takes away from the team? Some of you wouldn't have anything to say. Again, remember where you were 5 years ago. I don't know how long you've been on your job, but remember where you were 5 years ago. When you were worried about if you're going to be able to pay your bills. When you were worried about if you're going to have money for the school clothes for your kids. When you were worried about if your car is going to get repoed or your cell phone was going to get turned off. Or you didn't have any place to stay. Now look at where you are now. Look at where you are now in your company, in your business. Look where you are right now. Do you really appreciate the position? When you get up in the morning, do you dread going to your job? Do you come into work complaining about someone else? If that is the case, that you come into work with these complaints and all these finger pointing, all these finding flaws, if you come to work like that, you take away from your team. There's no way we can transform a losing team into a winning team if you don't transform your mind. If you don't start looking at the positives, if you don't start looking at the things that you can do better, this team will never transform. We will stay in the losers bracket because we're always looking to point the finger at someone else. You're not going to find too many people that you can point the finger at and they're not going to point it back. That's the society that we live in. But if we all can take constructive criticism, If we all can sit down and say, wow, is what he or she said about me, is that true? When we can do that, then I guarantee you can transform any situation from a negative into a positive. I'm asking you right now, it don't matter how long you've been in your job. No matter how good you are at your job. No matter how good you are in your position. You can't think that you are worthy of a promotion if your actions say you don't appreciate your position. If you're continuously complaining, finding faults, pointing fingers at someone else for what they're doing, you'll never be able to fix your flaws. Show yourself that you appreciate your position. Show your boss and your supervisor and your colleagues and your coworkers. Show them that you appreciate your position by stop continuously complaining. And I guarantee your team will transform from a losing team, from a mediocre team, for a halfway team, to a winning team. There's no doubt. When me and my basketball team were able to transform the way we thought about each other, transform our mind, and stop pointing the finger at each other, we were able to go on to win the next 10 games, the 3 games in the playoffs, and we won the championship. Because we were able to transform the way we thought, because we were able to transform the way we dealt with each other, we stopped pointing fingers, we stopped arguing, we stopped finding faults. We were able to see the goodness and the blessing in our position. And that's where we won the championship. Everybody wants to be on a winning team. Everybody loves to be, to win a championship. No one wants to be in the loser's bracket. But the only way you do that is you have to fix your own flaws first. I guarantee you, you'll get that promotion. You'll get that raise. You'll get that position that you've been wanting for years. You'll get it. If you fix those things about you that takes away from the team. Jules from John, Powerhouse. Have a blessed day.